You're listening to the Flooring Company Marketing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping your service-based business grow and thrive using the latest technology in internet marketing. And now, here's the host of our show and the CEO of Grow Inc., Matt Law.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another training episode. I'm super glad that you have joined us, and today is a bonus episode, and we're talking about how to be recession-proof. If you found this episode through a search, that's a little scary because you may be worried about a recession for your business and how to be recession-proof and how to survive. I'm making this training in May of 2025, and there is some alarming information out there. But if you're new to the podcast, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and the training that we provide. So first of all, this is a series. You can start with episode 1 and you can listen through the training. These are the most important things that you should do to help your business grow and win and be successful. I also include some bonus episodes. This is a bonus episode, by the way. I give you tips on winning in business. In the future, we are going to be interviewing some of our business owners that we've partnered with that have grown. Sometimes I just share helpful information about various topics. And so today we're talking about surviving the recession. Tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Matt Law. I am the co-founder and the CEO of a company called Grow Inc., GRO.Inc., and we help service businesses with their marketing. We're not a traditional agency, so we don't actually work with a lot of clients. We do immersive growth packages where we set objectives where companies need to grow by hundreds of thousands of dollars and see success. And, that's basically our formula. It's everything that we talk about in the podcast, but it's a special partnership that we do with clients. I've been doing marketing for a long time, since 2001. I've really been into technology in 1999. This is way before social media, way before MySpace, way before responsive websites. So I've seen a lot of things happen over the years and grow. So again, at Google Ads in 2001, started really doing SEO. A little bit in 2001, we hired a large scale SEO company in 2004, 2005, and we really did a lot of marketing for our mortgage business back in the day. When that closed, and I'll talk more about this in this episode, when that closed in 2007, I found my passion for growing companies and for marketing. I owned an agency since 2007. Probably worked with over 200 clients, from tiny little startups to hundreds of $1 million companies. And Jeff and I founded Grow Inc. to focus on service businesses. It's something that we are passionate about, helping entrepreneurs. Last year, we saw our clients grow in 2024 between 40 and 100%. So we had clients that doubled their revenues. Our smallest growth was 40% year over year. It's a little bit over 40%. So that is strong for new clients, especially when you think about what 2024 economy was like. And those are just the new clients. Our existing clients also continue to grow. And so we're really proud of what we've brought to the table for businesses. So in today's episode, and we're talking about becoming recession-proof. And by the way, I am not here to discourage you, but it's May of 2025, and things have been shaken up big time. So recession is when the GDP goes down for 2 straight quarters. And interesting enough, it just was released here that it went negative to a negative 0.3% for last month, which is the first time or the first indicator that we could be in a recession. And so the GDP is expected to slow down by 1.5% in 2025 from 2.4% in 2024. obviously in your business, if you're listening to this, you might notice that the consumer spending is cooling. There's issues with companies like Walmart saying, hey, things are slowing down. Like McDonald's would be a great indicator. Even things like that, with inflation being so high for so many years, people are starting to get tapped out. The small business sentiment is also down. The NFIB Small Business Optimization Index is near a 10-year low. So if you're feeling negative or discouraged about business in the future, it's probably why you're listening to this podcast today. I'm going to give you some tips and helpful information, I hope. But some other things that are big indicators is that inflation has moderated, but prices are really high, and housing, insurance is going up, services. And because things are so expensive, people have less money. And when people have less money and there's turmoil in the stock market where we lose, 20% with the tariffs, all this bumping and moving around, right? With all of this chaos, it makes it harder for people to take action. So they don't want to get a home equity line of credit to do renovations because, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. When their savings goes down in the stock market, they're like, hey, I don't know if I can retire at the right time now. So it brings an uncertainty to the marketplace. Home sales is where a lot of our clients are located in their service businesses. The home sales, when there's an impact, that's really rough. So it's like a 30-year low of the number of homes that are selling all across the U.S. So with high prices and high interest rates, there are less transactions, which means less service calls, less, hey, I want to do this to my house. And so that is going to impact a number of service businesses and a couple of other things. If it doesn't sound good enough, might as well just go through it all. Unemployment as of today is 4.2%. But I have never seen more uproar on social media about layoffs and the turmoil from the government layoffs to the people afraid of losing their job. So it's not like right after, COVID-19 and like, hey, I'm not working here, take this job and shove it or whatever. It's not the same. And so I think it's a different time we're coming into. And it's hard to know what's going to happen. I think one of the things that is really interesting is this Michigan consumer sentiment. It's really, really bad. And if you look at the number, it actually goes back as bad as 2008. And so we've got tariffs. What's happening with that? Who knows, right? And I'm not being, I'm not talking politics here. I'm talking about whether you agree or disagree. It's causing chaos in the marketplace. The thing with the student loans, that is people can't afford their student loans. The automobile surge in inventory and housing is growing. Finances are tight. And so if you want an honest, unbiased approach, what I would do is go get on your phone or on your computer and go to ChatGPT and ask about what's going on today versus what was going on in 2005, 2006. What are the numbers like? What are the numbers of delinquencies? What are this? What about debt? What about credit card? What about savings? And go through those and compare and do a comparison and then say to ChatGPT, what's going on in the market? What's going on this? Now, if you were to compare those two things, ChatGPT, what do you think next year is going to look like? And I will tell you, I did this because I was curious. It doesn't look good. At the same time, there is hope and opportunity for you to thrive and to win no matter what happens. Every month, I usually talk to one or two new prospects who call me and I ask them, how was your sales in 2024 versus 2023 versus 2022? How is the last 12 months? And almost every single customer is down by about 10, some down 20% year over year. Now, remember, These are prospects. But I will tell you, last year, all of our clients saw significant growth. The minimum new client grew by 40%. We had companies double their revenues in 1 year of working with us. Very, very proud of that. All of our existing clients are growing. So here's what I want to tell you. There are the right things that you can do to help you not only survive any recession, but to thrive in any recession. So I want to say that I've been there and been through pain more than most people probably realize. So I do hope that there is no recession. But today, I hope that what I share is helpful so that if you find this down the road and the economy's struggling, it will encourage you, it'll motivate you, it'll give you some tips for how to survive and to thrive in the long run. But in 2007, my wife and I, we owned a large mortgage lending company. We were one of the first online companies in our area. We invested in SEO. I've been doing Google Ads since 2001. We had some pretty cool advanced technology where we had hired developers to help us communicate on our loans. Probably had about 20 team members at the time. We were expanding. We just rented a beautiful and renovated a beautiful 6,000 square foot office, multiple consultation rooms. We were expanding. We were hiring. We were flipping houses. I mean, we were doing a lot of things. And obviously, we saw a downturn in the economy from 2006, 2007. But here's the thing: you think, well, everyone's saying it's not going to crash, so how could it crash? We thought we could survive the storm. And I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings and in lines of credit available. And here we go. We're going to make it through. Let's expand. Let's go. And I will tell you, it didn't work out that way. It was terrible. We lost it all. My wife and I lost everything. Our house got foreclosed on. We got sued not only by, our lines of credit, but from some of the loans that came through later saying, hey, it's kind of interesting to understand how this works is when you sell loans on the secondary market, they can say, hey, we're coming back at you. That appraisal wasn't right. And this is years later, forced us into bankruptcy and was a very, very painful time in our lives. I don't wish that for you. I don't want that for you. And I say that with a smile, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. And I learned a lot from that. Hopefully, you'll never need the advice I'm going to give you. Hopefully, there is no recession. Hopefully, you're going to be okay. But what I'm going to share with you today is how to be recession-proof, how I run my business now and today, how we help our clients grow now and today versus the things that I did when I was a much younger young man. So now I'm 48 years old. I've been an entrepreneur now for 25 years. I'm thankful for the good times, thankful for the bad times. But the way Jeff and I, my business partner, the way we run our business is a way that we feel is recession-proof. And I'm going to kind of walk you through what we do and hopefully how we help our clients and consult with them to grow so that they grow lean and mean and they're not wasting money and they're building something that is going to last and grow. So what sets recession-proof businesses apart? And there's really 4 things we're going to cover in today's bonus training. First of all, we're going to talk about how to be lean and mean, and we're going to talk about cutting waste and fluff and things that just don't matter. And we're going to go through that. I'm going to talk about focusing on the customer experience. In a recession or in a downturn, you can't cut customer value. You have to add even more customer value because it's so much tighter. There's so many your competitors that are going to be so desperate to give away everything cheaper. And so you have to deliver more value to the customer so they want to work with you. We're going to talk about being prepared, having an action plan, and what happens when. What do you do when? And then the last part, I'm going to talk about focusing on marketing, the right marketing that gives you ROI, because there's a lot of things that aren't going to give you return on investment. And so let's jump in and let's break things down. So the first thing I would just encourage you, maybe you found this podcast and you're like, hey, things are kind of lean and I am tight on cash. I am tight on, jobs are slowing down and I'm in could be in a bad way. And a lot of times that's when we kind of start thinking about things at night. We're worried about what we're going to do. We're worried about finances. And so we start researching, and next thing you know, we're listening to some guy on a podcast. As I shared in 2005, 2006, I think available capital, when you think about how much more money that is back then, probably $250,000, no personal debt, by the way, just our house mortgage, no car payments, nothing like that, just a mortgage. And we had cash and savings and we had lines of credit, no debt. And I thought, man, we're doing great. And because I had that extra capital, I was not lean with my finances. And if I could go back, and I don't really want to go back, okay, but if I could go back and not avoid that pain, maybe I would, but I'm thankful for that. But here's what I know. I expanded and ignored all signs of being diligent. And what I mean by expanded, we had a vehicle that we had painted, custom paint job. We spent money, lots of money on that. New office, furniture, parties, all of these things to grow as if, hey, it doesn't matter because we have cushion. What I should have done is kept things very, very lean and kept a lot of cash and access to credit. So the first thing I would encourage you is focus on being lean. How can you build more cash reserves? How can you get access to lines of credit? I mean, line of credit is a very affordable thing to get. Like, you usually can get a line of credit for your business. You can get a line of credit if you have equity in your home. You don't have to borrow it, but it's good to have it available if you need it, because here's the thing, cash is king. If you run out of cash and you cannot pay your bills and the company closes, then you have no way of growing, of making that money back. So if you can't keep the company open, then you're done. So cash is king. So I just always encourage entrepreneurs when I'm talking to them, make sure you have cash reserves, right? Make sure you have availability to credit. What it will do is we'll take financial pressure off you. And if you are always making decisions out of fear of money, because what if you don't have enough to pay payroll or whatever, you are going to make bad decisions. You are going to make rash, emotional, bad decisions. So having reserves in place, access to credit, that is going to, first of all, give you some peace to sleep at night, give you time to work through some issues. And I strongly suggest, looking at lines of credit. The other thing is you got to cut expenses, right? Cut what is not driving revenue, cut waste. And what you could do is go through your bank statements and how many subscriptions, right, do you have that are personal, that are probably going through your business account? How many meals, right, you're eating out on and as business? What kind of digital subscriptions does your company have that you don't even know what they're for, right? All the things that a service businesses invest in, like if they were to look through their bank statements and you were to go through it for one 30-day period, you would see so much waste where you could highlight, cancel. You can also negotiate things. So if you've got a payment to something like going through a recession, things are tough. Hey, talk to the people that you have payments to each month and negotiate with them. Hey, can I pay a little bit less, right? This is too much. I need to drop this service, especially if it brings you no return on investment. Things like a lot of times companies invest in a coupon book and they've been doing it a long time and they're okay, it's expensive. No, cut it or say, hey, I want the same thing for half the cost, especially if you haven't measured it, which hopefully you have been measuring your marketing, but we will talk through that here in a few minutes. But find what really matters. What matters to your customers? What matters to you? And if it doesn't matter, cut it, right? Office space, cut it. Like there's a lot of things that you could not invest in and it would not make a difference to your bottom line. So at Grow Inc., when we founded the company, Jeff and I focused on being extremely lean. And so we have very, very few monthly subscriptions. We have super low overhead. We work remotely. We have office space that we could use whenever we need to for clients, but it helps without having all of this overhead and keeping our business really, real simple. It makes it where we're super profitable, super, I don't say successful, but we are, like we've been very, very fortunate. So if there were a recession, I mean, we could stay open forever, with even with very few clients, we would do well, even with all of our growth. And in 2008, my first year that I opened up my agency, that very first year, what I'll tell you is I was slammed. Why was I slammed in 2008? Because the recession was starting. It was really upon us. And when there's a recession, I mean, more people reach out for marketing. And unfortunately, it's too late to start looking into marketing when the recession is happening. You should have been preparing ahead of time. My podcast and what I'm sharing with you this today is that at Grow Inc., we are building our business just as a fellow entrepreneur to be very, very lean. And I always encourage entrepreneurs, business owners, keep things lean. And then when you have enough cash, right, you're banking and, everything's paid off, then splurge and do that. But there's a season where you want to keep things lean and focus on profit and how much you're taking home, all of those things now to be ready if there is a downturn. And, obviously if there are downturns, we want to make it through, because if you make it through, you can actually survive. And then when things turn back around, you can dominate. So let's go on to the next thing. So number one, focus on being lean, cut all that waste. What else do you focus on? You focus on your customers. Now, this is actually not intuitive to business owners. Unfortunately, they're like, hey, things are tight. So they're going to either beat up their customers, give them less, deliver less, but instead of not serving them well, my suggestion is think about your customers even more. So if things tighten up in the marketplace, your competitors are going to go through that same tightening. Most of your competitors now are probably down the last couple of years, just like you are if you're listening to this. And they're thinking, hey, how can I get those customers back? Am I charging too much? All right. Am I doing this? And so their attention is saying, hey, how come we're slow? How come we don't have as much revenues? Right. And so if they give attention to their customers and you don't, they will get the business. And so you don't want to take out your frustration on the customers, but more than anything, you really want to love them well. And so I'm going to give you a couple of tips of how a lot of our clients do this so they can serve their customers well. So the first thing we do, usually we do a 2-day planning meeting, and we'll go through our clients' unique selling points. And so we would take a company like yours and figure out how you're better, faster, nicer, like all these different things. Hey, do you guys do background checks? Are you sending a bunch of druggies to people's houses, or are they background checked? We want you to figure out what people want to hear so that when they understand what you do versus your competitors, they're like, wow, they just love working with you. You provide a ton of value for them. So first of all, you look internally, you think about how you can innovate and add value to your customers without adding a lot of cost. So that's discovering your unique selling points. Then once you have great unique selling points, you obviously want to communicate those. So when people opt in on our clients' websites to request a quote, like your website, we share with them our unique selling points. There's like a PDF that goes and a video and a text and all these things that goes to them and says, hey, here's who we are. Here's why we're better. Hey, check out our online reviews. And so what we're trying to do is say, hey, there's all those other companies out there, but here's how we are different. So a lot of times I'll work with a new company and we only take on clients that have decent reviews. I know not everybody's going to have great reviews, but 4.5 or better shows you're doing a pretty good job. And then when you ask more people for reviews, you get them. So now is the time to get reviews, because here's what I'm going to tell you. You maybe don't understand this. When someone hits Google, there's 3 options in the 3-pack, and they're picking the one with the highest reviews, not the one with the most reviews. They are picking the company almost always with the highest reviews. So if you're not 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, you're already in trouble. And so now is the time to find your customers, make them happy. And so I want to share with you our process for getting reviews. There's a couple different ways to do this. So maybe, if your service business goes to people's houses and their employees, you can make a gift. And I'll give you an example. It could be a cup wrapped in cellophane, like the nice wrap with a bow on it. It could be a coffee cup. It could be a tumbler. Some of our companies, clients use lunch boxes, which are pretty cool. They have their logo on them. Some do shirts. There's all kinds of cool things that you can do, but it needs to be packaged really nice. But inside of that gift package, thank you, we're leaving, appreciate you, or maybe the job is done, you collect the final payment, and then you send out a gift in the mail. And this is what it is. It is a gift that is not cheesy, not small. It's quality, but it's maybe $7, 4imprint.com. We use a lot of times to get gifts. And inside of that gift, we will put usually 5 business cards, which are either the owners or just a generic referral business card. And there is a double folded business card, which says thank you on it. And then when you open it up, it says, thank you for your business. We really appreciate you. If you would please leave us a review, we would really, really appreciate it. And there's a QR code. Scan with your phone. They scan the QR code with their phone, and it takes them to a landing page that says, how do we do? And it's got frown face all the way up to a happy face. If it's a frown face or the line face, they go say, hey, fill out this form. How can we make it right? If it is a happy face, then it goes to Google where they can leave a review for the company. So every project you complete, if you think things are going well and you think they'll give you a review, you give them a thank you gift. And then when we ship out the thank you gift, or whenever the project is closed, we send them a text link to say, hey, thank you so much for your business. Our small business is successful because of customers like you. If you would please leave us a review, we'd really, really appreciate it. We've sent you over this gift, or the thank you gift was dropped off, or however they got the gift. We just want you to know we appreciate it. And we would ask that if you know anyone who needs our services, to refer them. Whenever a project is closed out and they have a gift and you send a text, you are so much more likely to get a review. So a lot of times we'll start with a company, they may have like 17, 15 reviews. Like they're not very many. And by the end of the year, they got 70. Next year, they got 150. And if you continue to grow reviews like that, and you have so many good reviews, right, it will push down the bad ones. So that's how you go from 4.5 or 4.6 all the way up to 4.9. And once you have that many positive reviews, and it's natural and it comes out at a regular speed with Google, I mean, when people see a 4.9 company with new reviews and fresh and all that, it makes a huge difference. One of the cool things we've started doing is embedding all the reviews, obviously on the review page on our client's website, but we're putting them in the estimates. So when they send out their online estimates, how cool is it to embed all of their reviews and recent projects? I think it's really cool. And it really helps, increase awareness, of, hey, look at these projects that were just done. You can only do this if you have good reviews. And so you got to focus on your customers. So number one, how are you going to serve them better, right? Unique selling points. What makes you different? What makes you better? It doesn't have to cost money, right? It just has to be you sitting down and thinking about what makes you better than your competitors. Innovate. The welcome package, when when our guys leave, our clients, their salespeople leave that location. If it's a sales, sometimes it's a quick fix, but sometimes it's, hey, you may be interested in this big opportunity. It's leaving behind that folder that's got, the reviews. It's got the unique selling points, a magnet, all of that print stuff there in there that shows how they're better. And most companies don't leave anything behind when they're on a sales call. Like, hey, call me, right? Here's my business card. No, this is a professional way of doing that. If you need financing, like you could put a financing flyer in there. All of that makes a big, big difference for how you are received as the customer. When you set an appointment, a lot of our clients do this, is that they set an appointment through their CRM. It will send them a text message and a email where they can actually, get a confirmation of the address and when we're coming and all of that. If you get reviews on your website, are you responding to them? If someone's not happy and they're mad and angry with you, are you trying to make it right? You get a negative review, everybody sees it. And companies expect, your customers expect you to have a negative review here and there, but are you responding to it? Like, hey, I'd do everything to make this right with you. Give us a call, right? Sometimes you can just say, hey, like, we've been to this person's house X amount of times. Like they're unreasonable. Look at all their other reviews. They're negative as well. You have to say it in a nicer way, but I know it can be frustrating. You say, hey, like we've reached out multiple times. They want something for free. We cannot do that, or whatever your side of the story is, but it has to be in a nice, kind way. And you can discredit a negative review, or you can just say, hey, reach out and we'll make it right. A lot of times, if you do that, you will get things fixed. So you can only respond to negative reviews if you respond to every review. And by the way, by responding to every single review you get, makes it hard for people to leave negative reviews. Why? Because they know you're actively participating on your account. So here's what I'm going to say. If recession's coming, you better lean in to making your customers happy, because here's what I will tell you. Your competitors are going to do that. They are going to cut costs. They are going to give more to that prospect to get the job and to get them to become a customer. So if you're ignoring the customer, you are going to be in trouble. Point number three is that I would just encourage you to focus on being prepared. And so if you found this episode, right, maybe it's 2026, maybe it's late 2025 and things are tight and you're like, recession-proof, what do I got to do? It's going to be tough because you're not going to be as ready. But if you listen to this in 2025 and we're still hanging in there and things are okay for a little bit of time, at least you'll be prepared if you follow some of the things I'm about to share. Question I have for you is, who's going to be the first to be fired on your team? Who's going first? And you ought to already have that in your mind right now. Like, who's going to be the first person to go? In 2006 and 2007, we had all of that capital, right? We had a lot of money saved. I mean, a lot of money saved and the lines of credit. But I said, hey, we're not letting anyone go. No, we are going to make it. We are all going to survive. And I fought on and we cheered and we tried ideas, and I kept paying people and kept paying people and I kept paying people until we were almost out of money. Oh man, we were faithful, right? Oh, we championed it, right? And then in September of 2007, I said, guys, hey, we're not going to make it. We're running out of money. We are losing big money. Nothing's closing. Companies that we were selling our loans to were also closing. What a mess it was. So many houses for sale. What a mess all of it was. And I know, hey, listen, you're like, oh, well, you were in the mortgage business. Like, listen, our company handled ourselves with integrity. We didn't put people in these crazy loans. If somebody proactively asked for an adjustable rate mortgage, we made them sign extra disclosures because I said, one day this is going to bite people. We made people sign extra disclosure. We had an incredible reputation with real estate agents, fast technology. I was super proud of our company. So I thought it would last. Like, no, we're doing things the right way. We're not doing this crazy stuff. Well, when the economy crashes, you can't do anything about it, right? You are where you are. And so there's not much I could do. But I kept our staff on and kept them like, we're going to keep going. We got to fight. And here's what I will tell you. In the end, we closed down. My wife and I went through bankruptcy, went through foreclosure. We lost everything and started over. And by the way, I tell people all the time, I'm so glad it happened. All right. I found a new, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we are so over-identified with our work and our companies, right? I'm way more successful now than I was back then. Have way more saved now than I did back then. Way more happy with my work and what I do now versus then. My marriage is better. My health is better. All of these things are true, right? I'm thankful for that mess and that time, but I don't wish it on anybody if they can avoid it. We kept all our staff till the end and we went through it. And guess what? They all had jobs within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Everybody was fine, but we went through the fire. This is your company you've worked hard for, right? Who's going to go first if there's a recession? Be prepared for who you're going to fire and why, right? You can care about them. You can wish them well, be nice, but you got to let them go. Remember, how are you going to have capital, right? Being prepared means where's the capital coming from? You got savings, you got a line of credit, you got a home equity line of credit. Cash is king in business. And so keep as much capital available as you can. Go to banks, ask for a line of credit, right? Go to your mortgage company, get a line of credit. Not saying use it, not saying waste it, but be prepared. Maybe there's some suppliers that you work with. Is there a way to get better financing on it? Longer terms, more days before you pay. Is there wasted marketing that you could get rid of? Right? Here I am, marketing consultant, encouraging you, but is there wasted marketing you could get rid of? I know it's great to sponsor little league teams and, have your name in the paper and all these events and these golf tournaments. Cut it out now. Save money on that. That doesn't give you a return on investment. Don't invest in marketing that doesn't give you a return on investment. And as I share this with you, I want to say something. I am not encouraging you to be negative with your staff or your people or to tell them your plan. Absolutely not. That's not the message for them. But if things get tighter, you have to be ready to act. And so you can be positive in the storm, right? You can say, hey, I'm sorry, but here's what I'm going to tell you. When you go into the storm, you are going to feel better prepared. I don't know about you guys, but I live in Florida, right? We live 30 nautical miles, 30 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach area. So we're inland, but not by a lot. Since 2004, I've been through a lot of hurricanes. Last year, we lost power, I think about 7 days, right? It's miserable, hot. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Nobody likes going through hurricanes. It's no fun at all. But I always feel better when I am set up for the hurricane. And what I mean by that is we got charcoal ready to grill, right? Got my generator going, got gas, right? I got a little window unit that our whole family can go into the master bedroom and we'll plug in this, this extra air conditioner so we can still be cold when everything else is hot, right? Those are the things that you do and you're prepared for the storm. And then, hey, if you don't lose power, guess what? You're not mad. I promise you that. You're like, oh, thank God we didn't lose power. But if you do lose power, you are prepared. And so the thing I would tell you is be prepared, right? And the things that you can be prepared for to win is to, number one, focus now on being lean. And if there is no recession, you'll have extra money, right? Treat your customers super well. Focus on them because that's going to be tighter and they are going to be looking for value. And then you be prepared with your finances, right? You be prepared with how things are going to go. Have a game plan in place. Maybe it's like, hey, we're going to get rid of this lease. We're going to cancel it. Sorry, business owner, but hey, sue us if you have to. Like, we're going to cancel the lease and we're going to go to this location. We're going to go virtual. Like, there's a lot of options. And like, again, you have to figure all of those things out. The last thing I want to share, if there is a recession, is that you got to focus on marketing with ROI, return on investment. Business owner, I hope you hear me. You have likely a database. Are you emailing them? Are you remarketing to them? So start with the free stuff. Most everybody has a database of customers. Go get a MailChimp account and send out monthly emails. This is one of the things we do for almost every new client. Like last year, we had a client that had 16 straight months of decline, and their SEO was really, really messed up from some of the changes that the company had done before us. I mean, almost like a malicious attack on their SEO. 16 straight months of decline, and we launched ads. We helped them with their USBs. We got their print stuff. Number one thing we started doing is marketing to their customer database to get more business, to get more referrals. Every month we sent out emails. Their data at the end of the year, they were up 40% for that. And their SEO still wasn't really, really strong. It actually was not as strong as I thought it would be at all, partly because of the damage from the malicious SEO, partly the marketplace was competitive, partly was a few other things with the campaign, but they still were up by 40% year over year after 16 straight months of decline. Why? A big part of that was communicating to customers. We took all of their customers, we exported them. Those were also on a marketing list that we could upload into Google. Powerful how you can do this. So stop wasting your database. If you are like, hey, things are tight, start communicating to your database right now. Most companies don't do this. Now, for your other marketing dollars, you got to cut out what doesn't work. So a lot of times you're spending money, sometimes with an agency, and you don't even know what they're doing, right? If they can't document what they're doing and they aren't giving you an actionable list, fire them, right? A lot of times you'll fire a company and you won't even feel it. And why? Because they're really not doing something. So you got to cut out marketing that isn't working, marketing that isn't measurable. And so you should double down on high ROI channels like local service ads, Google ads, remarketing, meta lead ads. There's a lot of those things, but you only know what works is if you measure it. And so here's the problem. Business owner, if you go back through all of our training, you will know measurable marketing, you have to have UTM tracking, urgent tracking method. Every single link that comes to your website, you got to have a tracking link on that. And then it has to be stored on the browser and cookie in that user's website. Like when they're visiting your website, when they request a quote or they call you, you know how you got that lead through CallRail, call tracking metrics. They fill out the form. You say, hey, I just got this lead. It's from Google. This takes work to set up, but once you have measurable marketing in place, you know what works and you know what doesn't. It's funny is we had a meeting with a client. It was his annual renew just a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, hey, let's do some research. All right. So 9 months of data we had, and we looked at how much an appointment was worth. I was like, hey, did you know your average appointment is worth $2,000? Every in-home appointment you have to sell is worth $2,000 on average for leads. And so if we want to hit this number, we got to have this many appointments. Now let's figure out where we got the most appointments from. And so we worked back to say, okay, what generated the most appointments? What form of marketing generated the most ROI, return on investment? Once you have that data, we could say, okay, here's what we have. Now let's look at some things that we want to turn off and let's reallocate the money. And so there was a few things that we looked at. One of them was the Microsoft Ad Network, which sometimes it works great, but for them, it was their lowest return on investment. I said, hey, let's cut that and let's reallocate that to here. And we cut that expense, added it more there, and they're having their best month ever. It's still continuing to grow. Now, there's a lot of things going on in this campaign, right? That client's up almost 100%. We'll be up probably 110% year over year total. But when I look at that, it's not just one thing. It's reallocating wasteful marketing to what is working. So you got to look at the ROI. And unfortunately, if you don't have this set up, that's what makes it hard. So start with what's free, right? Get measurable marketing in place. You can go to a company like CallRail and get call tracking set up. We set that up for our client. These are things that we do. I can't help you with everything, right? If we go through a recession, but what we do is the ROI marketing and the customer experience. Those are our areas. You being prepared and who you're going to fire and keeping things lean, that's kind of on you. But these are some things that we do. So I think that wraps up our podcast. I want to share just a couple things to encourage you. First of all, recessions, they don't create weakness, right? In business, right? They expose our weaknesses. And so the best prepared companies aren't going to just survive a recession. They're going to gain market share and they're going to come out stronger. So if you can make it through by being tough and lean and mean and doing the right things, a lot of your competitors won't make it. They are going to, this is too hard. Business is hard, right? You know it's hard. If you're listening to this podcast, you know business is hard. They're going to give up. But at the end of it, you can survive the storm and come out further ahead and really dominate market share at the end of the recession if you make it through. So I just encourage you, stay calm, communicate clearly with your people on your team. Be honest. Tell them about how you're prepared. It will give them peace. It will give you peace. Make really smart data-driven decisions. Don't panic, but look at the data. Every single business owner has a QuickBooks account and they can go in and they can see what the trend is. And if there's a trend, hey, it may be time to take action and use this time to gain market share. If it does get worse, then now is the time to act. When's the best time to start a marketing campaign? Yesterday. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. But the second best time is today, so get started. And so 2024 was a tough year for a lot of companies. And as I talk to prospects in 2025, it's been tough for a lot of those prospects. But our clients are winning. And they're using strategies to win. Now, I will say they're not winning as much as they were in 2022 and 2023, 2021, but they're still winning. And their competitors are really, really struggling. Before any of our clients, sign a contract, I always let them call, multiple clients and hear about their success. And decided, Jeff and I were talking the other day that we're going to bring some of these guys on the podcast. I would just love for them to share their stories. Yeah, I think it would encourage you, business owners. So I let them talk to these business owners and they talk to them before, and it gives them an idea about the journey they've been on. Because winning in business isn't just, hey, snap your fingers and you're successful. No. It's paying the price and doing the right things over and over, and then you see success. So anyway, if you're listening to this, I just want to encourage you, make sure you go through all of our training, especially if you need help with marketing. Start with episode 1 and go all the way through. I think you'll find a lot of value in it. If you want more free resources, you can check out our website, www.gro.inc. That's grow.inc. And we've got some awesome resources there for you. There's some audio training there, which is part of the podcast. But we also have our marketing book, which is unique. It's our 4-step marketing blueprint. It's got an audio version. There's a checklist of the do-it-yourself marketing plan and our software. You can check that out. And if you want to spend some time and talk to us, see if maybe you'd be a good fit to work with us as part of our growth marketing strategies, and maybe we can help you with your marketing, you can also schedule a call there. So hope you have a great day. I wish you the best of success, and hopefully you never listen to this podcast because there is no recession. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. We hope you found today's episode helpful and informative. For more information about Grow Inc. and to request our free marketing blueprint ebook and other resources, please visit www.grow.inc. That's GRO.inc. We'll catch you in the next episode.